motherless and having to raise children without, a daily example for much of her life, and then persevering and then having a family of her own, and the struggles that no one plans to have but are faced with dealing with. She was still a powerhouse. As you heard briefly, she studied in Korea, and she was quite, she was stunning. She was intelligent and charming. She was musically talented, and she met this guy who just fell for her, and he was also an amazing human being. And then they had plans. My mom, you guys all know her, so it sort of feels odd at times talking to people who know someone as possibly as well or better than the person speaking. But she was the type of person, and as she grew older, I got to see it more and more. She was very detail-oriented. Her prayers to God, even as a kid, they were specific instructions. They weren't plaintive cries. But, all right, God, I can do this. I'd like this. I'd like that. I had a hard time with this. And she, as things unfolded, with that strength in prayer, that type of faith, and also that kind of a child's claim to somebody's love, Dad, I need a hand here. You know what? My car, everybody else has that. I don't know what type of prayer, but just imagine that type of a relationship with someone. I can't see God. I can't feel God, but that's I think what gave her that rock. You guys talk of her as having been, somewhat of a strong influence or a legacy. I am up here mainly, after I've said all of that, to just give such a huge word of thanks. As we all grow older, we can see the world from so many different views, and there's so many people who were not fortunate like her. I can talk about all the hardships and all the struggles and yet she overcame, but she had, I talk about it so often. People are like, I know, Mom, we also have been to service. There is a brand of women here that you won't find anywhere else on the planet. And these strong women, you guys carried my mom through so many things. I'm strong-willed. My mother is strong-willed, as I mentioned. Her prayers to God even were very specific. So things that are right and wrong, if I had to describe sort of, the Bible takes so much time. I mean, there's so much information in there, how to, examples of siblings, parenting, love, forgiveness, reconciliation, strife, how you deal with all of those things. And there's also, examples that we can draw from as far as trying to identify who God is, or how that is important to know in our own personal walks. Growing up, I felt like I had the God of Leviticus, eye for an eye or something. Well, that is wrong. No two ways about it. But thankfully, through seeing my mother as a grandmother, or my mother as a friend to others, or my mother just really being happy that she had, my dad's little sister, she's so close. They're like friends and relatives and sisters in Christ. And it just goes on and on. But she had that feeling for everyone, all the service to women. You guys showed her how, it's gonna be okay. I have seen these strong women lose their husbands and experience joy and be strong and be grateful and thankful and joyful. So I'm so thankful. Coming here, just as my daughter said, that she looked forward to eating the food here, it's because you're eating love. I can't explain it. And so people, and I get kind of sensitive at times when I hear people, that little small town. But I had that issue. When I grew up, I just could not wait to run away. I didn't want to be a movie star or anything like that. Just had this deep, deep feeling. But I think it's something that we see a lot. Your walk with God is personal. Your understanding of your parents, how you realize that they love, and how you realize you should love. And mainly, the biggest thing that's helped me, because and you learn how to forgive yourself, learn how to forgive others through your walk in life. But yeah, we're all going through our one lives one time, and for the first time. So as she was a parent, as she was a daughter, as she was a member of this church, she played the piano, had a conversation. It was like the first time, like, I wish I could have done this better. I wish I could have done that better. And so, time is short, essentially. So let's, when she picked her English name, she picked Grace. And this was like as a grandmother. And she really liked that because the meaning is so strong. So let's just take time, long or short, we don't know when it's going to happen. I didn't cry that much, but I'm just now understanding. My dad was sick for a long time, and he gave us kind of mini deaths to deal with. Oh, we're no longer going to break bread with him. We're no longer going to, whatever, have conversations. He's not going to have like dad jokes, like Korean dad jokes. None of that's going to happen. And so the journey for us in terms of grieving, we were grieving kind of along with him in this decline. Who knew like a couple of leaves in a pool would do someone over? So realize it. There's life is like, you can be powerful, you can be weak, you can fail, you can make accomplishments, you can do things that you wish I had never done that. I wish somebody let me do that. All of that, who cares? Just it's so short. Love each other and just enjoy that someone loves you and just give each other grace. I think she would be so excited and happy to know that you're getting a big thank you. We just thank you so much for the love you had. She's an old lady and she wouldn't come to her children and live close. And it's because she loved you guys, And in that way, I want you to think of Service Door, think of yourselves. You were that fourth, I was the baby until you guys came around, You guys are the baby that she loved. She loved the joy, and she wanted to love your babies and love your grandkids and, feel your pain and hang out. And, I have to go and run by because, somebody had something for me, or they're going to bring me mandu. I guess there's something about the kimchi and mandu. But anyway, enough talk. I'm so grateful for all of the amazing pastors that have come here to participate in this, because I couldn't explain it to him unless he experienced it. And I just appreciate and I'm so thankful that I got to grow up here, and my mother got to pass here, my father, and then my brother got to live here, and that you supported my brother. She did such a good job. You won't find a better gentleman in the world. And he was, he worked at her beck and call while my father was ill. And then even later, as a single old lady, you might feel scared at night. She knew she had her son. So big, big thank you to Big Brother. Anyway, I'm not supposed to give a songyo or like it's a personal confessional. It's a mishmash of all the different types of things that I wanted to share. And I'm so thankful. She was so proud of her grandkids, every single one. And so I'm so thankful. I go. Anyway, thank you again for coming. I appreciate just the love and the energy and dedication, and I appreciate your generosity.
오늘 2025년 5월 23일이 고고덕경 장로님 이제 장인어른 살아계시면은 86세가 되시는 오늘입니다. 내일 5월 24일은 장모님이 살아계시면은 85세이신데 이렇게 장인어른 아버님의 생신에 이렇게 어머님의 입간 예배를 두 분이 그리도 사랑하시는 49년 동안 주님이 시아비스타 심으셔서 하늘의 미랄이 되게 하셔서 이제 하나님의 대에 아름다운 열매를 더욱더 맺게 하실 줄 믿고 그저 하나님께 감사드립니다. 저는 장모님을 추모할 때 딱 세 가지 추억, three memory만 좀 나누려고 합니다. 첫 번째 메모리는 추억은 약 29년 전에 난가주에서 저와 9명의 형제자매들이 이 시아비스타 연합장로교에 와서 한 일주일 동안 여름 성경학교 또 중고등부 유트 집회 이렇게 사역을 하였었는데 그때 10명 중에 4명 저랑 다른 3 형제가 장인 장모님 집에 민박을 했습니다. 또 나머지 6명은 교회 성도님들이 집을 열어줘서 거기서 자면서 교회 와서 사역을 했는데 장모님이 왜 그 형제들 중에 왜 저를 선택하셨을까? 그 가스포송에 Why have you chosen me라는 찬양이 있는데 I wonder why my mother-in-law chose me as her first son-in-law. 왜냐하면 하도 제가 이해가 안 돼가지고 결혼하기 전에 아내하고 시아비스타 여기 와서 장인 장모님에게 질문을 던졌습니다. That was a serious question from my heart. 제가 뭐라고 질문했냐면 아니 왜 이렇게 의사 간호사 세상적으로 엘리트 부모님에다가 또 제 안에도 변호사 사자가 들어가요. 의사 간호사 변호사인데 왜 저같이 가난하고 보잘것없는 전도사 그때 예전 전도사였는데 앞으로 목사 될 저를 왜 마사이로 선택하셨습니까? 삼으시려고 합니까? 하고 질문을 던졌습니다. 그런데 I forgot the answer. 답은 기억이 안 나요. 그래서 어떻게 결혼해서 28년을 지금 살아왔는데 제 생각에는 out of those 10명 중에 형제들이 한 5명 됐는데 다 형제들이 제 아내보다 나이가 어렸습니다. 근데 저만 제가